590 on this cool, crisp, and clear, not a lot of smoke out there today, pretty clear, Saturday, November 19th. It is 42 degrees outside and sunshiny and bright. It's a beautiful day. I want to welcome all our listeners, Northland Cable, Channel 5, Northland subscribers, those of us watching us on www.wcab59.com. Good morning. Good morning. My engineer this morning is Todd. Good morning.
You can actually use the term official.
It is official. We have we're an official weather station here.
Right.
It's actually 42.8. It's rising as I speak. I got a lot to cover, let me tell you. I got a lot to cover. My name is Gilbert Carmona. I am an enrolled agent, and some people have called me this week and said I'm a preacher too. They actually wanted to hear me. They like it when I read the Bible more than when I read tax law. So I want to thank all of you for that. I really do. I got a lot of comments this week, and all of them were just sweet and precious. Thank you so much. But my profession, my declared profession, is I am an enrolled agent. An enrolled agent is a tax specialist enrolled with the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, to represent taxpayers. So if you have tax problems, please get a professional. The three professionals that you should get is either an enrolled agent, a CPA, or a tax attorney, depending on the level of skill and what you need. As an enrolled agent, I can represent all taxpayers anywhere in the world. I actually have clients in 5 other countries. Hard to believe. You just show up to work every day and this little business just grows and grows. And we're grateful. We thank God for that. We've had a very, very busy tax year, which officially ended November 15th was the last regular filing for extended not-for-profits. November 15th. November 30th is going to be the last day to e-file for this year, for the 2016 filing season. So it's really coming to an end, and we're already planning for 2017. It's hard to believe, but that filing system is going to be on us in about 8 weeks. And there's a lot to do between now and then. If you need to speak with me, my telephone number is 828-289-9300. You can send me an email at gilbert@gilbertcarmona.com, or you can stop by my office at 113 Whitesides Road right here in Rutherfordton, up the street from the radio station. I also have an office in Tryon in Polk County at 226 South Trade Street. Beautiful Art Deco building right off the downtown. I don't want this to be Gilbert Talks politics this morning. I really, really don't. But I'm going to go back to what I said. Let me go back to what I preached last Saturday. Romans 1. When I said, because the media still doesn't get it. They are not getting it at all. Hillary still doesn't get it. They don't realize what happened. They think it's something they did or didn't do. They don't realize that just nobody believes their lies anymore. They believe their lies. And that's a dangerous thing. I just believe what happened all along is they believed their own lies to the point that night, if you watch it, and now of course we're all looking back at these videos and we're calling it the media meltdown, and folks, it really was a meltdown. But let me get back. Romans 1:24. Therefore God gave them up to the lusts of their own hearts, to sexual impurity, to dishonoring of their own bodies among themselves, abandoning them to the degrading power of sin, because they exchanged the truth of God for a lie, and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. For this reason God gave them over and abandoned them to vile affections, degrading passions. Their women exchanged their natural function for an unnatural and abnormal one. And it goes on and talks about men. And the men also turned from natural relations with women and were set ablaze with lust for one another, men committing shameful acts. I mean, it's everything they applaud, from the late-term abortions to the homosexuality to just every law they want to ram down our throats. And they don't really believe that this nation is a deeply moral nation that has conviction for sin, even though it's been eroded and eroded and eroded. It's still there. You look at the map. Look who voted red and who voted blue. I mean, New York, Chicago. Yes, it was Illinois, but it was Chicago. Illinois, I'm from a suburb outside of Chicago. I lived there for 29 years. Illinois is a deeply conservative state. In my county, I was in DuPage County, the largest Christian school was Bethel Baptist, a Baptist school, a Baptist church. In Illinois, it's hard to believe. Some people don't think that, and we were a western suburb. In Illinois, Chicago, if you live in Chicago, you call everything else downstate. Even if it's the west or the north, you call it downstate. And the rest of the state is deeply conservative, deeply Christian. But Chicago, 15 million votes in a small concentrated area, and you look at California. That's who voted for this liberal agenda. And I'm going to get back to taxes, but it's hard to not talk about this when you're talking about taxes because it's our government. And you see the impact of this on our economy. The next day after Trump gets elected, we have one of the best stock market rallies in since 2011. Thursday, the dollar was the highest it's been since 2003. My clients in other countries, yes, Donald Trump did more in 8 days of not being president than Obama did in 8 years of being president.
No, that's funny.
I've got friends I've got clients actually, not just friends, I've got clients in Brazil, I've got clients in Mexico, and I've got a client in Miami that imports and exports to Europe, specifically Turkey and Spain, and he imports and exports into Russia and Brazil. And he is saying that he has never seen anything like this with the dollar. It's incredible. Great for our economy. Absolutely wonderful. Really making America great again. He's done it. Donald Trump has done it. I can't wait till he gets sworn in. And he has real power. But the lying media just keeps lying. And it's distressing. It is really distressing. We're not out of the woods yet. As the saying goes, we still need to pray for our governor who took a strong stance on some moral issues and really got attacked for it. And it's not funny, but the part is the law, the big law, the HB2 law that he's getting criticized for. They're calling it the media just says, oh, it's the same-sex bathroom. It's the same-sex bathroom law. Other states have had that same law in place. In Louisiana, they've had a law similar to that. In Louisiana, New Orleans, of all places, there is a law that men cannot use the women's bathroom and women can't use the men's bathroom. That law has been on their books for over 100 years. So it's just grievous. But Pat McCrory, we still need to pray for him. It's within, last night when I was researching it, it's within 6,200 votes. And Roy Cooper, or Ray, as Hillary Clinton called him in Raleigh, Hillary Clinton, she was in Winterville and said it was good to be in Greenville, so she was a little confused. People weren't sure if she was talking about Greenville, North Carolina, or Greenville, South Carolina. It was good to be, and then she told everybody to vote for Ray. And I wish they had voted for Ray, but that's beside the point. So Roy Cooper, it just concerns me. He is trying to be declared governor. Anybody that wants it that bad, something's wrong. We have due process. Let's just let the due process work its way out. You can't be inaugurated governor till, I believe the governor's inauguration in North Carolina is January 6th or 7th. So we got a few weeks, Roy. Let's just go ahead and count those ballots. The law says if it's within 10,000 votes, the losing candidate has the right to request a complete recount. And his lawyer, Roy Cooper's lawyer, called McCrory an obstructionist and all kinds of other names. No, he's just following the law. And all he's saying is it's close. but they're accusing him of all kinds of stuff while they're trying to get knighted, or they're trying to get coronated. So, okay, enough of that. Keep praying for him. We're going to take a break here in a few minutes. I found, I'm going to finish talking about politics here with this. The media, if you disagree with them, they label you whatever. And that's really what it seems to be. What is a racist? A person or entity that disagrees with the media. What's a bigot? A person or entity that disagrees with the media. What's a xenophobe? A person or entity that disagrees with the media. If you disagree with them, you're labeled. How do you defend yourself? And I'm calling this Todd, help me with this word. Is this a word? Look it up there. The Hollywoodification. It sounds right. You know, if I could be like Donald Trump and coin a word. I mean, he said bigly. It became the most Googled word that night. He was saying big league, but he said bigly. And there were like 6 million inquiries on Google for what is bigly. So if I could coin a word, that'd be great. So the Hollywoodification of...
Actually a word.
It is a word! Hollywoodification. Thank you, Todd. Hollywoodification. Any process, any event or story that goes, oh, look at this. It is a word. Okay, so the Hollywoodification of journalism. Folks, journalism is dead. It's a Hollywood mentality. If you disagree with them, you're wrong. No, I'm an American. We have this thing called a Constitution. In that Constitution, we have the First Amendment. And the First Amendment not only guarantees religion, freedom of religion, but the freedom of speech. You know what? Let me take out my handy-dandy pocket Constitution, Todd. I know you've got the app on your phone, but I'm old school. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. There's a lot in that little paragraph. But we have freedom of speech. And if I disagree with them, that doesn't mean I'm some kind of a phobe. So I looked up progressivism, because that's their whole thing. The big thing they're saying in the media is the progressive movement is now been threatened. No, the progressive movement has now been destroyed. And so has democracy. So has the Democratic Party. Not democracy. They're saying that Trump's destroying democracy. No, he destroyed the Democrats. But this is really interesting. We'll take a break right after I say this. I just learned this. Progressivism, the progressive movement, the progressives, what Hillary and Obama and all these people are so proud of being, actually started with Woodrow Wilson. He was the first progressive. Now, I knew a lot about him. I'd read about him, but I never really put all this together like I did this morning, last night. Woodrow Wilson, our 28th president, was, by the way, he was the first and only president that was a PhD. He was Dr. Wilson, a true elitist. For his time, he was a true elitist. And he tried to give us the League of Nations, which is the UN, and it failed because they saw right through his elitist, what he was all about. But he was a progressive. Progressives hate the Declaration of Independence. They hate the Constitution. I mean, this is open. This is his words. He has a deep disdain for the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and he called it back in 1917. I got to get these dates straight here. He made a series of comments. He said it was an obscure document that needed to be done away with. And here we are 100 years later, fighting for that obscure document. We'll be right back. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes right here. WCAB 590 AM.
Hi there, this is Kimberly, and I'm here to tell you about Peterson's Auto Service and Detail Shop. As a woman, I'm often apprehensive about taking my car to a dirty service garage. But you can be assured that Peterson's, located at 478 Butler Road, Forest City, has an incredibly clean and safe environment where you get high-quality service at a great price. Peterson's was voted Rutherford County's best auto service 3 years in a row. So take your car to Peterson's for brakes, oil change, North Carolina inspection, tire rotation, headlight lens restoration, scratch removal, and meticulous auto detailing. That's Peterson's at 478 Butler Road, Forest City. You can call him for an appointment at 245-8889. Mention you heard Kimberly on WCAB 590 AM, and Peterson will give you $20 off a full detail or $5 off your next North Carolina inspection. Peterson's Auto Service and Detail Shop, a place I feel comfortable going to.
People say to me all the time, Gilbert, your hair looks fabulous. How do you do it? The answer is simple. Robin Saunders at RSL Salon, 279 Shiloh Road in Forest City. Now, anyone that can make you look this fabulous is only available by appointment. So you've got to call Robin at 289-9110 and tell her you want to look as fabulous as Gilbert. RSL Salon also does gel nails. If you need a pedicure, shellac, or gel nails, call Emily at 447-3524 and she will fix you right up. That is RSL Salon at 279 Shiloh Road in Forest City. You can call Robin at 289-9110 or Emily at 447-3524 because everyone deserves to look fabulous.
We are back. That was quick. And my hair does look fabulous this morning. It really does. Robin. It's all Robin. It's not me. And I've got this new microphone. Todd, thank you so much for thinking about me. It is wonderful. I hope I sound better to the people out there. Okay, so we're not going to talk about politics anymore. Oh, who am I trying to kid? You can't get away from it. And it's not just that we're on the winning side. I mean, I hope, I don't want to come across that way. I don't want to gloat. I really want to be humbled. I just want to be humbled because this is a humbling event. If you will let God humble you. Just that we're just calm and patient, and we were calm and patient long enough. And I think there was a lot of pent up. And now all these people are coming out of the woodwork. I don't listen to this kind of music, so I don't listen to any music. Kanye said at a concert that he would have voted for Trump had he voted. What was that? So now they're all coming out of the woodwork, backpedaling 6 months of attacking the guy.
This is the same guy that performed at the White House, right?
No, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know who they all are. I really don't care. It's incredible. It's incredible. Okay, so let's tick off our list. Gilbert Talks Politics, Gilbert Talks this, okay. Let's go to Gilbert Talks Taxes. And what did you want to say? Oh, Christy wanted me to remind everybody that we really do need to also be praying for Governor McCrory and Trump's cabinet, that he really hears who to vote for. I mean, who to vote for, who to vote for, because who to get in there, because we voted for him, yeah, but he's bringing an army of people with him to do the job. Okay, so as we get ready for tax season, this is Gilbert Talks Taxes. Let's get back to that. As we get ready for tax season, we've got some major changes coming up this next year. It's hard to transition back into this, Todd. It really is. We've got some changes coming. What is happening is partnerships. If you have a partnership, you file a tax return called a Form 1065. We just call it a partnership return. If you're an individual, you file a Form 1040. Every American knows what that form looks like. If you're a corporation, you file a Form 1120. If you're an S Corp, you file a Form 1120S. And then there's other forms. There's a 1041 and a 790 and some of these other forms, 990 if you're a not-for-profit. But the main ones is the 1040, the 1065, and the 1120. Okay, those are just the main forms that most people, especially business people, have to do with. Okay. There was a law passed. It was like I forgot what it was called. I had notes on this. I talked about this last year. It was called it was a highway bill, and in this highway bill, tucked inside of it was several sections changing the dates that these tax returns get filed. They wanted to change these dates, and they were just looking for a way to do it, and they found a little room in these other laws and just tucked them in there. They had nothing to do with highway use or highway taxes, but sure enough, they stuck them in there, and these laws are now going to kick in this year, or next year, 2017, the 2017 tax season. Now, what makes this so important is we are really creatures of habit. It's interesting, of the 900 plus tax returns I do every year, I look back and people come to me almost within the same day every year. I got the people that come right away early, I got the people that come in the middle, and I got the people that come on the last day. And it's the same people every year, and it's what they do. And it's fine, I'm good with it. I'm here to serve you and what works for you. But this year, we are going to have a change, and this is important because it's moving the thing up. If you file a partnership return, the filing date used to be April 15th, just like the 1040. Now this year it's going to be March 15th. And you say, well, okay, so it got moved up a month early. Big deal. No, it is a big deal. It's a huge deal because partnerships usually have very complicated bookkeeping behind it. There's the partner's portion of the profit, the K1s that have to be distributed. They're K1, the partnership distribution, the partnership equity. There's a lot of work that goes into preparing these 1065s. Now, if you have a small partnership, it might not be too big of a deal, but I've got some that are pretty substantial, and that extra month is going to be major. So if you file a partnership return, or you're in a partnership and you get a K1 from these partnerships, just be aware they've got to have that return done by March 15th. And then extending it moves it up September 15th, which really for the partnership, the extension has not changed. It was always September 15th. But the April date is what's changed. It's huge. And the reason, and this is actually good, this is really good they did this, because the K1 issues, the partnership issues a K1 to all the partners. And they need that K1, it's K, the letter K, and a number 1 is what that form is called. It's kind of like a W-2 for a partner. It has all his information on his partnership. That I need that K1 to prepare the individual's tax return. So just be aware, though, the people I'm really want to inform about this are people that file the partnership return. Because if you're late, there is a $185 a month per partner late filing fee. So if you have multiple partners, which most of my partnerships do, most of my partnerships, the average has like 4 members. This could be huge. Being late could be very expensive. S corporations are still going to be March 15th, but partnerships and trusts are still going to be March 15th. Now, 1120 regular C Corps, which I only have a few of those. C Corps just aren't as popular anymore. Most people that have a corporation have gone to an S Corp status. But the C Corps, that actually was March 15th. That has now moved to April 15th. Why, I don't know. The only thing I can figure is because those do not issue a K-1, those just aren't that important. Individuals have stayed the same. The exempt corporations are now, it used to be a series of dates for extensions and filings. Now there's just two. If you're a 501c3, you're an exempt corporation. Now, churches, religious churches, or churches that are of religion. Not all churches are religious, by the way. There's different as far as the IRS is concerned, there's different things going on there. And they have a clause in them that Congress has the option of renewing them or not. Usually extenders involve credits, or you get a credit for doing something, or you get a reduction of tax for doing something, or tax has been waived. And then they do it year to year. So we have these things, we've known them now as extenders because they get extended for another year. I don't know what's going to happen right now. It's a little too early to tell, but I will keep you posted on those. Every year it's a big deal, extenders. Just a really, really big deal because it extends limits. So we don't know. It's going to be very interesting this year, though, with a Republican Congress, which will stay Republican, a Republican Senate, and the new president, what they decide to do with some of these extenders. There really aren't any major ones on the table that affect a lot of people. There's some real niche ones. I will keep people posted on those. And then the other thing I want to talk about is the 1099s, the miscellaneous 1099s. The IRS has been cracking down on those more. If an independent contractor works for you and he makes more than $600 a year, makes more than $600 a year, you have to give him what's called a 1099 miscellaneous, saying that you in fact paid him this money. You in turn, that proves you're expensing that on your tax return. Now, in the past, what I've told people is if it's a brick and mortar business that you're dealing with, or it's a corporation, it's a contractor that is incorporated, you do not need to give him a 1099. That's still the rule of thumb. I'm still going with that. But the warning I want to give people is if you hire somebody, typically these are contractors that may come work at your house, or if you're a general contractor and you hire subcontractors to do work for you. What I see happen every year is we have our end of the year meeting, which I'm getting ready to have with a lot of people. I had 2 yesterday. I'm trying to be a little ahead of the curve this year because I want to be ahead of things going into January. But what I see every year is they give me a list of all their contractors and all the people they paid that were not W-2 that worked for them, and then I start working on the 1099s, and I don't have their social security numbers or their EIN numbers or their information. And then they try to chase these people down. Well, when you call them and say, I need your information to give you a 1099, you usually hear a dial tone on the phone because they hang up on you. I mean, it's happened to me so many times. So I tell people, get it ahead of time. If you have people work for you that you think you might give them a 1099, get that information from them. It's a form called a W-9. You download it. It's a one-page form. You just get their name, their address, their EIN or social security number, whichever they're using, and what kind of entity they are, and they sign it. And you renew it every year. You should renew it every year. You don't have to, unless the information changes. But I tell the people to go ahead and renew it. That way we have fresh ones on file with the correct address. The time to get it is not after you've paid the person and they're done, unless you use them all the time and they do contract work for you all the time. Every year, I had a man one time gave me a list, 18 subcontractors. We could only find 2 of them. Now, we still put it on the tax return. These were expenses. And if he gets audited, the IRS could come back and say, we're going to disallow all of these and give him a fine for not doing this. So it's an issue. If you have any questions about any of this, I know I'm kind of just hitting the high points. There's a lot to this. give me a call, 828-289-9300. I'm already meeting with several people this coming week and the following week about business entities. Should they be a C Corp, an S Corp, a partnership? What should they be? If you're a husband and wife that owns a business, you've got some issues there that need to be discussed. So give me a call. I'll be more than happy to talk about all this stuff with you. Todd, let's take a break. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB 590 AM.
Our big cold front we've been talking about all week is heading our way. Should arrive tomorrow, maybe midday or so, and then kick up the winds and cool us off for tomorrow night and Sunday. Fair skies tonight, almost comfortable this evening if it weren't for the smoke out. Look for lows in the upper 40s to around 50. Tomorrow sunny, turning breezy, highs in the upper 60s by midday, and then temperatures falling to the 60s during the afternoon. We'll bottom out in the low to mid 30s tomorrow night. I'm meteorologist Nate Johnson in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
What can I say about Cafe at the Mall, Cafe to Go, and 10 North Trade Cafe Bakery that can do them justice? The cakes, fresh-baked breads, sandwiches, and salads, everything is delicious and perfect. Whether it's sit-down dining, lunch on the run, or catering for any occasion, Cafe at the Mall, Cafe to Go, or 10 North Trade Cafe Bakery is the place to go. Stop in at Cafe at the Mall, Cafe to Go, and 10 North Trade Cafe Bakery and mention Gilbert Talks Taxes and get a free cranberry oatmeal cookie. The official cookie of Gilbert Talks Taxes.
My closet keeps shrinking my clothes. And if you have that problem, take them to Nancy at Nancy's Alteration Shop at 610 South Broadway, Forest City. Call Nancy at 248-2345. Wear the clothes you like to wear. Let Nancy bring them back to life for you. That's Nancy's Alteration Shop, 610 South Broadway, Forest City.
I want to welcome Tim Schlabach and Foothills Photo Works, a professional hybrid commercial photography studio. If you're concerned about your social media image, listen up. Whether you're an executive, real estate broker, lawyer, or business owner, your image matters now more than ever. And you know first impressions count. Whether you need professional portraits, corporate headshots, images of your products or facility, aerial photography, and videos of buildings, boats, or large acreage, affordable professional help is here for you. Foothills Photo Works can create media that will help your prospects get to know you better and help you look your best. Foothills Photo Works is located at 362 Charlotte Road in Rutherford, North Carolina, but you need to call for an appointment. That number is 828-668-2304. Mention this ad and receive 15% off your first session. That's 828-668-2304. Foothills Photo Works, your media professionals.
This is Gilbert Talks Taxes. Gilbert, the IRS does have these laws. That is true. And actually, you know when these laws started? We owe it to Ronald Reagan and the kindler, gentler, let me say it the right way. He said we were going to have a kinder, gentler IRS. And he put in charge a person who was going to try to collect money using sugar instead of vinegar. That was the quote. They were going to try to get taxpayers to pay. So these laws are in place, but it's not easy to get accepted by these programs. Let me go ahead and get right into it. I'll get back to the other thing in a minute. Let me go ahead and get into this. You see these people, they advertise, call 800, blah, blah, blah. When you call, we've followed up with a few of these to see their approach. When you call, usually you get a very high pressure sales, and they tell you they can solve your problem for you. You have to pay thousands of dollars up front, and they promise you that they can get your debt reduced. You got to pay it off. You can get into a payment plan. There's all these things, and it's all true. All of it is true, but you need to know it's not a law that the IRS has to accept this offer. What they're talking about predominantly, okay, there's several things. Let me just walk you through the basics. Let's say you owe the IRS money. The first thing you need to do, whether you really owe it or not, because I've get people that are for, well, I don't owe that money. Fine, you don't owe that money, we can fight this. Let's get you on a payment plan. Because a payment plan stops all harassment. It stops garnishments. It stops everything. They can still lien properties and seek judgments to assets, but they won't levy. They won't come and take the asset. They'll have a right to take the asset, but as long as you're making that payment plan, they'll stop. More importantly, they won't garnish your wages. So let's get you on a payment plan. Assuming you can afford the payment plan. Let's get you on a payment plan and then fight the thing out. Any money you've given them, let's just say they're totally wrong, you don't owe them a penny, we'll get you on a payment plan, you make a few payments while we solve the thing, because it can take 4 to 6 months to resolve an issue with the IRS. They are a slow-moving train, and they're in no hurry. Sometimes it happens quicker, other times it happens slower. I just had 2 issues resolved. One was from actually 3, but the one is I still got a few things to work out. The one issue goes back to 2011. I didn't make it. I got brought into the middle of it 2 years ago. For 2 years, I've been fighting this thing. Finally won on the 8th, week before last. The lady got a check from the IRS for $5,500, and it took 2 years. I got another one. The check came. What's important is, let's get you on a payment plan. That way, it locks everything up. Now, what if you can't afford a payment plan? At least let's contact them and get a stay. Get the thing held while we work out the details. You can get 30 days, no problem. You may be able to get 90 days, and sometimes you can extend that 90 days if you're really working the case and sending papers in and they're seeing that you're working the case and you don't have any money. But the problem's not going to go away. It's in their little computer, and their little computer's not going to let it go. Those of you that have heard my story, when they discovered, Geraldo Rivera discovered what he thought was Al Capone's vault. It's a famous story. And he was live on television. They were going to dig up Al Capone's vault. It turned out to be nothing but a hole under the house with nothing in it. Some mason jars were in it, I think. It was like a root cellar. So they're opening up Al Capone's vaults, and a little nondescript man with a briefcase shows up, hands Geraldo Rivera his business card. It was the IRS. Al Capone still owes the IRS money. 50 years. This was back in the late 70s, early 80s. Al Capone had already been dead 45 years. He owed the IRS money, and they're not letting it go. Okay, if there's any asset that could possibly be remotely connected to him, they want it. So, and he was in the IRS, and he was there with a guard, by the way, and if they found anything, it was his. He was going to take it back to the IRS, and they were going to send whatever was left over to the estate. So, they don't forget. So we deal with it right away, get you on a payment plan. You don't need a professional to do this. I recommend you get a professional, of course, as a professional. I recommend you get one. We do know what we're doing, so it speeds things up. But you can do it yourself. You can actually pick up the phone and get on a payment plan yourself. Now, let's say there is no way you owe this money, you owe them whatever. It's got to be over $10,000. That's when it kicks in. If it's less than $10,000, offer and compromise is not available to you. But they have a process called offer in compromise. And what that means is, if you qualify, and there's a lot of criteria, but if you qualify, and this is where I have a problem with these television commercials and these radio commercials, where the man's telling you that you can negotiate with the IRS. And you can, yes, but there are a lot of criteria that you have to qualify for, and they only accept 40% of them. 40% of them get accepted. And you can negotiate for 10 cents on the dollar, but that's not the criteria. The criteria is, what can you pay? And if you can pay more, they want the most. So it doesn't mean that you're going to pay this thing off. I owe them $100,000. I'll pay them $10,000, and we can go away. And the process can take several years. I've had several of these successfully go through. I've had very good results, but I screen the candidate pretty close on the front end to make sure, because I don't want to put false hope into somebody. I'm not just going to tell you, oh yeah, pay me some money, I'll fill out this form, and they'll accept this. They won't. The criteria is strict. and you got to do it. Now, you can get your own, you can look at this up online, go to irs.gov. Remember, that is the only IRS website. Anything else is a fraudulent website. Do not put your social security number or your date of birth into anything. And the IRS doesn't even ask you for that unless you're filling out some specific forms. And you will know you're on a government website because you're going to get a lot of disclaimers telling you you're on a government website. irs.gov, G-O-V, is the only official website. Go to irs.gov, look up offer in compromise. It's form 633. Look this up and read about it. And if you think you might be a candidate, give me a call. Again, my telephone number is 828-289-9300. If you owe the IRS money and you're having problems paying, give me a call. Let's discuss your options. Because there are options. The worst thing you can do is ignore it. It only gets worse. And you don't want to be labeled non-compliant in their system. That is the worst thing that can happen. Because then every time somebody calls and they're reading the notes, they'll say this person's not compliant. They ignored notices. They didn't call us. They didn't try to do anything about this. And then they're not going to be as proactive to help you as they might be on the front end. There are things worse than taxes, folks. And there's things worse than owing the IRS money. It's not that big a, well, I don't want to say it's not that big a deal. It is a big deal. But it's not as big as many people think. And there is remedy. Again, what concerns me about these things on the radio and the television and all that is they make it seem very simple. It is not. And they're really grossly overcharging. What I have seen in my experience, people are grossly overcharging for something they could do themselves or something you could have a professional do. I'm seeing people pay $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for something that I do for $750, $500, $800. Now, if there's a lot of years of tax returns to file, I mean, you got to pay to file those tax returns. But still, for the kind of money they charge and then to get no results or to promise you results they can't deliver, that's just not right. Again, if you need me, 828-289-9300. Todd, let's take our last break. Let us take our last break, and let's decide what we're going to talk about when I get back. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB 590 AM.
A good sign is good business. Make your business stand out with a professional sign from DS Signs and Graphics. Successful companies all over the Carolinas are trusting Alex at DS Signs and Graphics. He has the artistic ability to present your company's image in the best light. Not only display signs, but DS Signs and Graphics can customize banners of all sizes. And if you need magnetic signs or window and vehicle lettering, call on DS Signs and Graphics today. They offer a full line of signs and graphics for any event. 3D, sandblasted, storefront, and monument signs are part of the complete selection of quality signage. Professional signs and banners to fit any budget. Let your business stand out. Call DS Signs and Graphics today. That phone number is 286-4900. Or stop by the sign shop located on Main Street in downtown Spindale. And check the website for more suggestions at dssignsandgraphics.com.
I want to tell you about a little-known Rutherford County gem, Integrity Marble and Granite, located at 287 Shiloh Road in Forest City. They are the premier stone fabrication company in the western North Carolina region. They specialize in granite, marble, and natural stone, offering complete design and installation. Their design center and Kohler showroom features vanities, decorative accessories, bathroom, and kitchen fixtures. You do not have to go to Charlotte or Asheville for this kind of quality. We have it right here in Forest City. Stop in their showroom and browse their beautiful displays, or you can call 828-247-8801 for a free quote. You can also go to their website, www.integritymarblegranite.com, and look at the pictures and see samples of their available materials. Now, mention you heard it on Gilbert Talks Taxes, and they will give you $100 off any sink purchase. That's Integrity Marble and Granite.
Suffering from numbness in your feet, leg cramping, pain when you walk, difficulty sleeping from leg and foot discomfort? Well, you need to see Dr. Jerry Gross at Foot and Ankle Center of the Carolinas. Your feet don't have to hurt. Call 245-6405 today.
Who said that?
Serving the foothills of the
Talks
Carolinas.
taxes. This is Gilbert Talks all kinds of stuff. I want to keep talking about taxes, but how can we not talk about politics? I just got an email. It's Gilbert Talks Politics. I promise I'm not going to go on a rant. I was going to talk a little bit about Obamacare, but what's there to talk about? What's there?
Repealed next year.
Well, I don't know that it's going to be repealed to the level that we all think, because something's going to happen. But the thing that concerns me is what's going to fill the vacuum. There is nothing left. These insurance companies, they're like like a dog that's just gun shy. You say government, and they flinch. There's no insurance companies left that want to even step up to the table. I don't know. I don't know where that's going to go. Folks, it's open enrollment. People are calling me and saying, should I enroll? I do not have a health insurance license. I do not want to give advice. I don't know your personal circumstances. If you need insurance, if you're insurable, and it's a tough topic, because the lying liberal media. If you didn't like the Affordable Care Act, I took a lot of heat when this thing started, and I openly came out against it. I was told, well, you don't want poor people to have insurance. No, that's not what I said. I did want President Obama, actually Jonathan Gruber, ramming a law down my throat that has nothing to do with insurance. It was all about a power grab. It was all about money, and it was all about federalizing health care. It had nothing to do, and they could care less whether you have insurance or not. And I think that's a pretty safe statement to make. I think we've all pretty much seen that. It was all about power and control and lies, more lies. So I took you, but I went out, because if you say, well, I don't agree with that, oh, you're a whatever, you fill in the blank. You're a Republican. Whatever the insult that they want to hurl at you is, instead of listening to, and the media just refuses to do what they're calling, which is called journalism. Journalism, you listen to both sides, or 5 sides, or 8 sides of the topic, and find a way to communicate people's sides to everybody involved. They don't seem to grasp that concept. I don't know, maybe they're not teaching that in school anymore, in journalism school, and now they just want to peddle an agenda. But I don't know what to tell people. Open enrollment is through January. It's through January. You just need to pray about it and just decide. If you're not going to get it, don't get it. If you're going to get it, get it. Just be aware and make sure your subsidy has been correctly calculated. Otherwise, when you come to see me or a tax preparer of your choice, or you do your own taxes, you're going to have to deal with the shared responsibility payment. If that's not a socialist phrase, I've never heard that. It's not a tax return. It's your shared responsibility payment. No, it's a fine the government's slapping me with. It's another tax. That's what it is. So call it what it is. It's a tax. So you've got your share responsibility tax, and then if you've got too much subsidy, they over-subsidized you, you have to pay that back. And I've had people that have had to pay back as much as $7,000. Okay, I've had several that have had to pay back in the $5,000 range because they were over-subsidized. Their subsidy was not calculated correctly. It was calculated by a person at the exchange who did not know what they were doing. They were not trained. They did not have a license in health insurance, and the whole thing was a mess. And now the person does the tax return, and they owe this money back. Now, on the other side, if your subsidy was calculated wrong and it wasn't big enough, you'll get some money, additional money back on your tax return. I have had people get $400, $500, $600. I think the biggest one I got, it's just a guess, I really need to look it up, but $700 was the biggest one. And what happened is they lost their job. They lost their job because their company went to China or Mexico or something, so they lost their job, and they had calculated their subsidy on them working at this job all year, so they actually had like 4 months they didn't work, and they might have collected unemployment. I don't remember the details, but the subsidy was not enough, so they got back a little bit of money, but that was only a few. That was not the norm. So let's go out talking about this, because this is really what everybody wants to talk about anyway, right? Politics. Okay, so President Trump, I'm not even calling him President-elect, he's President Trump. President Trump is going to put Jeff Sessions in a position of authority, and the media now calls him a racist because 35 years ago he made a racist comment. Now, I don't know what that racist comment is. I've been told by you, Todd, but here it is. It's in the story. He called somebody boy. He called Thomas Figures, a black assistant U.S. attorney who worked for Sessions. Sessions called him boy. Okay, 35 years ago he called him boy, so he's a racist. But let's talk about Democrat Senator Robert Byrd. You said Robert Byrd's been in office from 1959 to 2010. Robert Byrd served as senator to West Virginia that's a long time to be senator. 50 years. I'm sorry? The longest serving, I've got this staff here that's just wonderful. Todd and my wife, Christy. Thank you all. I appreciate this. He was the longest serving senator, Robert Byrd. Okay, he's in Congress serving the wonderful people of West Virginia. He's a Democrat, and he was moonlighting as the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan. Did the media call him out as a racist ever? Not only was he the Grand Dragon, but he was also what? The Eternal Cyclops? What did you say?
Cyclops.
The Great Cyclops, which is, I guess, some Klan title. And he was very, very involved in the Klan, but he's a Democrat, so that's okay. That's totally okay. Don't forget, they're the racists. I mean, the Dixiecrats. And then when you tell them when you tell Democrats and people that follow the Democrat dogma that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, they look at you like you are from another planet. They have to Google it before they believe you. I was actually talking to, and she said, don't call me African American, I'm Black American. She said, there's nothing African about me. I love her. I was talking to someone about this. When she found out that Martin Luther King Jr. was a Republican, that Stephen Douglas was a Republican, and that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, her jaw dropped. She told me, Gilbert, and this is a lady with a college degree who was in education. Actually, she was in administration, but she did teach. But she was in administration. She was in education for 35 years as a Black American, which is what she wants to be called. And she said, I did not know that Abraham Lincoln was a Republican. She just found this out just 3 months ago. He was a Republican. Stephen Douglas was a Republican. Martin Luther King, I think I already said that, was a Republican. Martin Luther King Jr. and Sr., I heard the dad was, although I have not read that, was a Republican. And all these quote-unquote black leaders were Republicans. They switched to the Democratic Party for political reasons, and many of them regretted it. But so Sessions, in spite of Sessions having a hugely successful record of desegregating schools, I'm reading here while I'm talking, and he got the death penalty for the head of the KKK. I want to look that story up. And Ronald Reagan even tapped Sessions to serve on the federal bench and Senate Judiciary Committee. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. This guy's history is stellar. But today because of an alleged comment, by the way, that was made 35 years ago, which it is alleged. He is a racist. Again, if you don't disagree with them, what's a racist, Todd? A person who does, or entity, that doesn't agree with the media. You're a racist, you're a whatever. Okay, let's wrap this show up. Thank you so much for listening to me. Again, let me give you my contact information. My name is Gilbert Carmona. If you have any questions, any tax issues, you owe the IRS. And I didn't talk about North Carolina. There's some sales tax issues this year that are kicking in. We've got a slew. It's pretty official, Todd. It is a slew. It is a slew. It's about, I just got this flyer from them. It's about 8 pages. I would qualify that as a slew of 8 pages, exactly, of new laws. They're not really new laws. They're just new definitions and new procedures for sales tax, who charges sales tax. They've codified and tried to make clear a lot of it. We've got some tax hikes in some different counties. So I do a lot with state tax issues. Give me a call, 828-289-9300. I'd love to talk to you. Send me an email, gilbert@gilbertcarmona.com. You can go to my website. There's a Contact Us link on there. Gilbert Talks Taxes. I will be back next Saturday. You'll be here too next Saturday, right? That's what I heard. You'll be here next Saturday. Thank you so much for listening. And please, let's keep praying for these people and keep praying for our government and just pray for God's will. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes right here, WCAB 590 AM.
She clashed a lot with the teachers' unions in Washington, D.C. She's under consideration for the